All right, welcome back. Things are a lot different when you don't have to work. Let's get right into it.
Does your dog hate kids? Here are the 3 top reasons why a dog would hate a toddler. Previous experience, okay? This could be from puppyhood, where the breeder's kids were hanging them like little rag dolls, or even just your nieces and nephews, any kid that's in your life that's...
Did she say breeders' kids? What was that?
Previous experience, okay? This could be from puppyhood, where the breeder's kids...
Okay, where the breeder's kids. So, you bought your dog from a breeder. She's saying that the children of the breeder physically abused the dogs before you bought them from the breeder. This, first of all, is a wild guess. Second of all, it shouldn't matter. Who cares what some kid did to a worthless mutt? Are we supposed to still bring these things around? Listen to this. Okay, that's one. I just wanted people to understand what she's talking about. The breeder's kids blindly blames the breeder's kids of hanging the dogs. What? You assume that the breeder's kids hung the dogs, the puppies, or whatever before you... Okay, lady. Okay, lady. Here we go. Here we go with the BS.
Kids, here are the 3 top reasons why a dog would hate a toddler. Previous experience, okay? This could be from puppyhood, where the breeder's kids were hanging them like little rag dolls, or even just your nieces and nephews, any kid that's in your life that's been a little rough and uncomfortable towards your dog. Bad association, okay? If you have changed anything, made anything negative the second that kid came around, absolutely negative association for your dog. 3.
Okay, so the second one is neutral. It doesn't wag the finger at the child. Number 2 does not wag the finger or blame the child for anything. Negative association, that's something, that's a mistake on part of the owner, the adult. So, let's listen to number 3.
Absolutely negative association for your dog. 3. Kids are terrifying. Let's be honest here. Even parents are terrified of kids. How many new expecting couples have you spoken to and they're like, I don't know if we can handle this, because kids are terrifying. We love them, but they're a lot. They're unpredictable. They're untrustworthy. They run, they scream, they do random stuff.
Untrustworthy. Run, they scream, they do random stuff. You see how she is simply regurgitating the things she's read online. Those websites that I've shared hundreds of times by now. She's read them and she is regurgitating them blindly as fact, when the truth is that these things have an instinct to attack the young. An instinct on top of a possible parasitic motivation based on evolutionary circumstances.
Expecting couples have you spoken to and they're like, I don't know if we can handle this, because kids are terrifying. We love them, but they're a lot. They're unpredictable. They're untrustworthy. They run, they scream, they do random stuff.
Dogs don't run. Dogs don't scream / bark. Dogs don't do random stuff. Dogs are deadly. Kids are not. Kids are harmless. Dogs are not. Dogs are deadly. How about we acknowledge that difference? How about we stop on that difference and marinate on that? Let's process that. You want to skip along with your little lie? You know, you got your little lie skip tactics handy? No. We're going to hit the brakes. Let me show you what that looked like. Let's back this up.
Station for your dog. 3, kids are terrifying. Let's be honest here. Even parents are terrified of kids. How many new...
Ain't nobody terrified of kids. That's a flat out lie. A statement you made. That's so ridiculous. I felt the need to not even respond to it. I'm sure most listeners did as well. It's like, don't even respond to that. It's such BS. There ain't nothing terrifying about kids. They're the opposite of terrifying. Literally, the opposite of terrifying. You know what's terrifying? Dogs. Y'all peep this reversal of the truth? The backwards tactics. Should we give it a name? You know what's terrifying? Dogs. Huh? Based on the truth. You want to make a poll? What's terrifying? Which is terrifying? Which one do you want to be locked in a room with alone? What are you talking about? It's disrespectful to even say something like that. To be honest, let's be honest. It's disrespectful to even say something like that. You are out of your mind. For you to push something like that, you are out of your mind. And I think this was uploaded recently. You uploaded this recently. Let's finish.
You expecting couples have you spoken to, and they're like, I don't know if we can handle this because kids are terrifying. We love them, but they're a lot. They're unpredictable. They're untrustworthy. They run, they scream, they do random stuff. They are scary. So if you want your dog to like toddlers, you have to make toddlers not scary.
Okay. Wow. Wow. At a loss for words. How often does that happen?
They're unpredictable. They're untrustworthy. They run.
They are predictable. There's not much they can do. All they can do is run. What are you talking about? That's unpredictable to you? Seeing a kid, that's what you go into shock when you see that? Explain yourself. Explain yourself. What's unpredictable about a kid running, screaming? You goofy. You goofy. That's what this is. We dealing with brain deadness.
But they're a lot. They're unpredictable. They're untrustworthy. They run, they scream, they do random stuff. They are scary.
Do random stuff? Like what? What can they do? Grab something. What can they do? Backflips? They can do somersaults? Huh? Can they drop kick us or something? What are you talking about? It's dogs that can do random stuff. What can a kid do? What are you talking about? See, this is what I don't like. I don't like mindless babbling. I don't know about anybody else. This is one of my pet peeves. Senseless, mindless babbling that cannot be verified in reality. That's a problem. That's a problem. And when you make that an argument, that's a serious problem.
Do random stuff. They are scary. So if you want your dog...
Name one random thing that kids do. And doesn't everything gets done randomly? What are you even talking about? Huh? People This is unreal.
Dog to like toddlers, you have to make toddlers not scary.
Understand, it's the dogs that are scary. Insanity. You should be reported. You should be reported right now. Now, I touched on something in the previous stream. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to dogs' instinct to attack small animals. Allegedly, they retain the natural instinct to hunt and kill small animals, trait inherited from wolves. This instinct, known as prey drive, is an innate desire to chase, capture, kill prey. While it's a natural part of canine behavior, it can lead to unwanted situations, especially when directed towards other pets or livestock. Wow, it is a surprise that they did not include youngsters, but I take that back. It's not a surprise. Inherited instinct. Prey drive is a deeply ingrained behavior in dogs, stemming from their ancestral hunting strategies. Really. Not always hunger driven. Look at that. While dogs may occasionally kill for food, prey drive is often not solely based on hunger. Yeah, we see a lot of that. We see a lot of that from dogs. That's almost all we see from dogs. And we really don't see it from other animals. So what is this? It's consistent with dogs. Almost every night there's a new report, a new article where they went through and attacked livestock. They just go through and kill. It's a pattern most seen in dogs, and really exclusively seen in dogs. Okay. Triggers, movement, sounds, and even the scent of prey can trigger a dog's prey drive. Really? So all you need to do is be small and move. And you want to claim that these youngsters are terrifying these dogs? Individual variation, the intensity of prey drive varies between breeds and individual dogs. And of course, it's highest in bully breeds. Potential for problems. Strong prey drive can lead to a dog chasing and potentially harming other animals, including smaller dogs, cats, or even livestock. In the world, early socialization, here we go. Exposing them to different animal situations as well as training, blah, blah, blah. Impulse control. There was a comment. Where is that? What is that word for? There's another name for. I saw a comment where they said it's exactly the same thing basically, but there was a different word used. This is deep, because when you're trying to argue that this same animal is being provoked and that this animal being provoked is the number one reason why they attack these youngsters, you're up against it. You're up against it. Look at the reports that came. Look at that recent report where as soon as the dog came into the room and laid eyes on the youngster, it launched an attack. Immediate on-site attack. If you're trying to argue that a creature that behaves like that is actually being provoked, you are up against it. And again, in what news report, ma'am, can you find what you're saying? What news report confirms what you're saying? That these dogs are being provoked. and that this is one of the reasons these dogs hate kids. What report of a actual dog attack against the kid can you find these accusations you laid out in this video? None. You can't find none. Not one. Not a single one. Yeah, you should not be able to get away with that without being called out. Okay? That is crazy. And in fact, the whole dog world need to be called out. Because this is the result that they were looking for. They wanted people to accept this lie on its face without any confirmation, without anything to prove it or validate it. They wanted people to swallow it and regurgitate it, put their own spin on it, which is what they did. That is exactly what you heard just then, rather than base it on the facts. This is actually crazy. So we all know that the primary trigger is that the target or the victim is small, because dogs are such cowards. You're at the highest chance of being an attack victim, dog attack victim, if you are small. The smaller you are, the worse off you are. And also movement. Don't call the movement sudden. What are you talking about? That's basically one of the things that they're saying. Well, he moved. What are you supposed to do? Just stand in one spot forever? Move suddenly. Shut up. So a small victim who moves, walks, runs, jumps, all the things that youngsters are free to do, shut up. They try to demonize those behaviors. That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. Youngsters jumping, running, they demonize those behaviors. Even though it's natural instinct for them to run and be active, they demonize it. Oh, that's the problem. You're jumping up and down. You're running. You know the stupid dog is running, jumping, terrorizing people, pouncing on people, going crazy. But the youngster is the problem. That definitely confirms the parasite theory on a deep level, if you ask me. One man's opinion. That is a horrifying fact. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, dynamic in dog culture is very, very sick. So you're small, move, you make a noise. Again, is that somehow misbehavior? Making a sound? When dogs make the worst sounds possible, and they're always making sounds as well. Ridiculous. Those are the real reasons. And for these things to want to attack and not eat, just for sport, just for the pleasure of unaliving a living organism. Case closed. Case closed. That's just what it is. And even scent of prey. Scent. Now, they've talked about, you remember that trainer who talked about scent. The scent of newborns. That's crazy. And if there's going to be any scent, the scent of a newborn, I would imagine, would be the scent that would trigger it. Strong prey drive leads to a dog chasing, potentially harming. So there's people in the world who become experts, and their expertise is based on pushing these lies that the dogs are actually being triggered and provoked. So you're basically an expert, and part of your ideology is that all of this is false. None of this is true. You're a professional in claiming that everything we've gone over here, everything you see here, you're expert in claiming that this is all false, and that it doesn't apply to youngsters. Of course it applies. And in many cases, the dog will attack the youngster because it's not a dog, because it's a small human, and the other dog will help, will join in. So I don't want to hear it. That's one of the worst parts of dog culture. Them trying to claim that dogs are being provoked. I don't care who you're talking about, an adult or a youngster. Nobody of any age is going around provoking dogs. We learn and become adults knowing not to provoke dogs. We don't even have to think about it. Mailmen, everybody will tell you, when they encounter these dogs, they do everything they possibly can to not provoke it. It's almost human instinct at this point. And that's why you find a lot of youngsters with resentment towards dogs. Just like that bird that was the biological offspring of the parent bird eventually attacked the foreigner. I'm sure these youngsters quite often develop resentment towards these dogs, but have no power, and they cannot remove the dog from the home. And at that point, they're being, the word. And they've actually made YouTube videos saying exactly that they hate the dog and that the dog is scary. I shared those videos. They're actually still online on my original channel, and it would take me a long time to find it, and I don't even know if those videos are still on YouTube, but there was a lot of them. I made a compilation where I went over a bunch of them of youngsters on YouTube. One or two of them was whispering, "I hate the dog. I'm scared of the dog. I hate the dog. I'm scared of it." I'm like, what? Talking about how they're afraid of this worthless mutt, and they cannot stand it. And they don't like it for the same reason we as adults don't like them. All that slobbering, all that always up in your face, begging for food, stinking, acting crazy, and being aggressive, threatening. Now, there's more problems. There are more problems. There are more problems. We're also dealing with a creature that has a pack instinct, where they have an instinct to intimidate. They have it's naturally built into them to compete. There's a word, it's not coming to me right now, but they have to establish rank, and that requires a certain mindset because not all animals do that. Much of this training is built around trying to train that mentality out of dogs. And so you're up against it. If you're trying to argue that these same creatures are being provoked, why would you even want to take on such a task? Being at odds with these types of facts. Get out of this profession, my fellow man. Get out of it before it's too late. Time is running out. This is a failed so-called profession. Are you serious? We're also dealing with a creature that has an instinct to form packs. Packs. It was already bad. And that's just icing on the cake, I guess. So, ma'am, okay, what's her name? Dog Baby Bliss. Dog Baby Bliss. Ma'am. Okay, one more time. I'm sorry. I want everybody to be clear on this.
Does your dog hate kids? Here are the 3 top reasons why a dog would hate a toddler. Previous experience, okay? This could be from puppyhood, where the breeders' kids were hanging them like little rag dolls.
Can you, if this is true, let's say that's true. How often does that happen? Are you saying that that's somehow rampant? Okay, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Or even just your nieces and nephews, any kid that's in your life that's been a little rough and uncomfortable towards your dog. Bad association, okay? If you have changed anything, made anything negative the second that kid came around, absolutely negative association for your dog. 3, kids are terrifying. Let's be honest here. Even parents are terrified of kids. How many new expecting couples have you...
Now, oh my goodness. There are videos online of dogs running past adults to get to the smallest victim. And you're saying these dogs are actually terrified of these youngsters when they literally run past adults to get to them? You're up against it. Why would I want to be on that side of the fence with you? I'm not putting myself out there like that. Dog culture, like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? You don't want to catch yourself out in public going over things like this and you sounding like an idiot.
You've spoken to and they're like, I don't know if we can handle this, because kids are terrifying. We love them, but they're a lot. They're unpredictable. They're untrustworthy. They run, they scream, they do random stuff.
How are dogs trustworthy? What are you trusting dogs to do that you can't trust youngsters to do? What are you even talking about? What are you trusting dogs to do? Youngsters are untrustworthy. I don't know what you trying to trust them for anyways. And dogs are trustworthy? Huh? You know you can't explain that. You know you can't. I don't even have to talk to you. And I know there's no way for you to possibly explain that. Dog lovers in the room? Any dog lovers in the room want to help her out? Want to speak for her? You agree with her? Go ahead and lay it out for us. Help us to understand this.
They're a lot. They're unpredictable. They're untrustworthy. They run.
How are they unpredictable? How are they untrustworthy? What do they do that's unpredictable? And remember, whatever you name, you have to ask yourself, how can it be unpredictable if you're sitting here naming it? you can pretty much guess everything that they're capable of doing. What are they doing that's unpredictable? You don't want to become an expert in trying to push these as facts, these statements as fact. What are we doing as a society? I mean, really, this can't be one of the things that we're doing. We need to scratch this from, or just modify y'all's rhetoric. Okay, she's the product of you experts' rhetoric. I want everybody to understand this. Be clear on this. She is the expert. She is the product. She's the product of the experts out here, the so-called experts that I criticize all the time. This is a problem. This is a problem, ma'am. I don't want to hear it.
Are terrifying. We love them, but they're a lot.
Explain terrifying. What are you? You're crazy. You're crazy. You're dangerous. You're dangerous. What are you talking? I bet she owns a pit bull. She looks like a pit bull owner. Most definitely.
We love them, but they're a lot. They're unpredictable. They're untrustworthy. They run, they scream, they do random stuff. They are scary.
Running and screaming is random and terrifying. Let's pay a visit, ma'am. I have to see you. And okay, she has, as expected, she has a large dog, possibly a bully breed, more than one, of course. Of course. Yet the youngsters are terrifying. Horrible. This is what I'm talking about. It's that parasitic relationship where the dog is actually receiving more nurturing, more love overall. Let's just say love. Let's use that word here. Dog actually receives more love. Even just based on that, which she just said just then. Can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. And you're just setting yourself up. And what is this book here? Stop training your dog. Of course. Of course. Sad stuff. I mean, can we compare dogs to anything else? It seems like no other animal is as wired for violence. No other animal is as wired for violence, specifically wired to attack victims like toddlers, newborn. Nothing else is as wired. There's no greater threat to that young demographic, helpless, defenseless demographic, and they've made it a culture to pair these two, dogs with these youngsters. It don't get no worse than that. Does not get any worse than that. So, dog lovers, I need to get on the right side of things fast. Okay? Now, y'all saw the post I made earlier. Y'all be careful. Be cooperative now. I think I have the best idea when it comes to troublesome people in the chat room. The people will give their voice on who needs to be made a poll or who needs to talk about. I'm going to make a poll about you. I'm going to ask the people to vote. That way they can vote without being seen. Their names won't show. Does such and such, should such and such be banned or hidden from the channel? So don't do that to yourself. Cooperate, be nice, be civil. Okay? We're a very chill crowd over here. Do not spam comments and all of that nonsense. And shout out to all of you. I'm having a good time, able to join me for this live stream. And I hope you can join me on the next as we continue with this crusade.